everybody. Welcome to the Timeout podcast with Oli and Vens. Um, thank you for rocking with us. We are going strong. This is episode 4 of season 2. Still no basketball. Football season is about to start, and soccer season just started. So I hope everybody had a good week. What's up, Oli, man?
Man, fresh off a shift. That
Yes, oh shit. Same here.
fresh off a shift. I quickly drove home.
Same here, man.
People are so rude, man. Hey, man, people are rude. I'll just leave it at that.
Uh, yeah, but get into it, man. Asia is putting a claim for MVP.
I said it last episode. She's my MVP already. To me, the race is over until I see something different. Because they went from being 14-14 to being the second seed, and she was
Mhm.
getting MVP chance when they went against the Atlanta Dream.
Wait, she was getting MVP chant away. Like
Yeah,
that's
and they got the dub.
if that doesn't tell you she's an MVP, I don't know what will.
And I'm biased. I'm biased.
No,
So
and the way crowd is yelling MVP for you, that means. And I think she's MVP because not only for the way she's playing, but the way she was able to motivate her teammates to get that get to that place where they are scoring more. I mean, scoring more W's, getting more W's and losing less, and getting the second seed. That's what, for me, an MVP player should be. Because not only by the way you play, but also by the way you're able to rally the team together to get there to a point where to get them to a point where they turn from losers to winners, if I'm allowed to say that. So I think that's what cement her as an MVP for me this season.
yeah, to me, and honestly, I don't want us to forget about because yes, I am biased. Like I want Asia to win the MVP, but we can't forget about Nafisa Collier. Like Minnesota's that cloud over there that it might rain, but the cloud is coming, the storm is coming, and it's a two to me it's a 2-person race between Nafisa and Asia Wilson. Even though I'm pulling for Asia, I can't like if somehow Minnesota was to be the more consistent team, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like this could easily be a thing where Minnesota is the most consistent team. Like they didn't have to have crazy ups and downs. You didn't need to have this rallying cry for your team in the locker room. Like they didn't need to have that moment, and the FISA still wins just because the team ends up being the best team when it's all said and done. The team is better equipped, had a quiet but dominant season. Like if it ends up being that way, I can't be mad that
Mm-hmm.
Asia didn't win because Nafisa's been playing well all season.
Yeah, she's been doing her
So
thing
it's
on
it's
there.
but it's just like it's hard to beat a 10-game win streak, averaging almost 28 during the you're averaging almost a 28-point double during the win streak.
Mm-hmm.
I To me, I don't know how. I don't know how you don't win MVP. It's not going to be unanimous, but
You
I
know,
don't know how.
sometimes people go about like the seed, like you're the second seed and things like that.
I
So
mean, yeah, but like, and then even just not to go back to Nafisa, this is a person who like her game is more. How do I say this? I feel like people would gravitate to her game more because it's a lot like it's a steady amount of jumpers, and she's very efficient. Like I remember in one of the games that she played, I think one of the games that she played against Atlanta, they ended up losing, but I think she shot like 77% or something, like
mhm.
something crazy in a loss. So you're talking about an efficient player who can score with the best of them. So I don't know how. I don't know. I'm loving this season I'm loving this season so far. I'm very
It is
pleased.
a pretty good season. Only downside is, well, there's more to that, but um Caitlin Clark not playing because of injury.
Yeah.
Because I would love to see the competition between her and Paige,
Mm-hmm.
and also the fact that there's a lockout. So those are the downside of the season.
There's a lockout looming too, because despite all these things happening and despite the league being in a good place, uh people don't want to spend that bread, you know.
Well, that's an issue because the ladies are bringing eyes to the product. It's not like they deserve money, and not paying them is actually hurting the WNBA more than reaching an agreement with them. So I don't know.
I mean, it's to the point where, but what's frustrating is it's not like the WNBA doesn't recognize that there's more eyes on them, and they don't recognize, like, because funny enough, now they don't want the players going to other leagues. They don't want the players playing overseas, and they don't want the players playing for other leagues like Unrivaled, which some fans would argue was better than the WNBA because they let the women play more. It's a little more physical, a little more passionate, a little more competitive. And you have those talks coming in from a league that's in your backyard, basically. And
Mhm.
it's now you want to recognize, because WNBA players have been going overseas for years, and it's never been a problem. It wasn't a problem when the league was struggling for attention, and the eyes wasn't there, and players were going overseas. You were stopping players from going overseas back then, but now there's more attention on you. Now more people are watching the WNBA. You suddenly want to keep your product here. You suddenly don't want the players playing overseas anymore. You don't want the players going to places where they can actually play and get paid for it.
So you don't think by players going overseas is a reason is one of the reason why there's more eyes on the WNBA?
No,
You don't think so?
no, because these are people. Because you got to
So
think about it. The players, when we're talking about them going overseas, it's not like they're going to like Spain or something like that. They're going to Russia and them.
yeah, but people in Russia will still want to follow those people still if they let's say they catch an eye or catch a fan.
Because it's been happening for years. Players have been going to overseas to Russia and places like that. Since I was a little kid, since like 2002.
Okay.
And where has especially now when we're talking about, especially, and it's an unfair comparison, but especially when you compare it to the NBA, that's always had eyes on it, when you talk about things like the Dream Team and the Olympics and things of that nature. When you bring that up and you talk about the eyes that brought to the NBA compared to the WNBA players having seasons overseas, it was never the same. And the league
So
skyrocketed in popularity. I'd argue the WNBA is in that position now, but not because of anything that happened overseas, strictly because of what
why
happened here.
why do you think there's that much difference in people watching from between the WNBA and the NBA?
Um,
Is it because of the level of machismo of certain guys is like, okay, I'm not gonna watch women play sports? Is it because some people are biased? Like because it's still basketball.
I mean, it's still basketball, but it's not the appeal of the NBA is a lot of the appeal of the NBA is the athleticism at the end of the day. Like the one complaint that's always going to follow the WNBA is, oh, I want to see them dunk, I want to see them do this, I want to see them that. Like they will ignore the acrobatic layups that some of the players can do. They'll ignore the play calling. They'll ignore the sets being called. They'll ignore all of that just because the flashiness of the WNBA is not up to the level that the NBA is at, and the boost in popularity that you're seeing for the WNBA is honestly because the WNBA got flashier and flashier. Especially, and when I'm talking about like flashiness, I'm counting like deep threes, like things that will boost entertainment, which is why I give a lot of that credit to Caitlin Clark in her draft class, specifically Caitlin Clark, because people saw her shooting from 30 and beyond, and they were anticipating that she was going to do the same in the WNBA. So when she got drafted, naturally those same people followed her to the WNBA, and it brought those eyes and it brought that boost in popularity. That has never happened when a player has gone overseas from the WNBA to make more money and then come back to the States.
Because sorry, what I think, the way I see it is,
not to this degree.
It's an unfair comparison, but let's take those US players that go and play in Italy for like the Serie A, the soccer players.
Okay.
When they come back home, they bring eyes to them. Like a Juventus fan will come and watch what what McKinney does with the US national team. An AC Milan fan will come back and watch what Pulisic does with the national team. So much so that for that last Gold Cup, there was a lot of controversies because the coach didn't call Pulisic and there were like beef between them. And AC Milan fan was standing behind Pulisic against the coach.
I mean, that's not happening in WNBA though.
Which honestly I find a little bit weird because if you love the talent and the talent goes anywhere the
Because it's
talent
like,
goes, you will follow the talent.
because they're getting paid, but I don't know what notable teams in Russia, and this might be my own ignorance, but I don't know. Like, for example, when Brittany Griner got caught with that weed with the marijuana and she was jailed, and we had to do a swap. We had to swap we had to swap a criminal with Brittany Griner to get her back to the States. I couldn't tell you what Russian team she was going to. All I could tell you
So
was
when
that she
she
was,
got caught with the weed, she wasn't going on vacation. She was going to play over there.
yeah.
This is crazy. So a player is coming to play for you, and you arrest her, and you had to swap
Because
like a
that's the
whole criminal.
customs. That's the customs of the country. Don't have weed on you. But it's like
I
I
understand
couldn't.
that, but she's coming to work. It's not like she's coming for vacation and she had recreational weed.
Look,
Maybe she cannot function without the weed.
these other countries don't play when it comes to their rules against drugs and their policies. Which I was it extreme? Yes, but I can't sit here and say that I'm gonna be mad because
Oh, I
this is
know.
this
I
is
know they
just
don't play with their customs. 50
nope.
Cent got arrested in one of those Caribbean countries just because he was performing in the dirty version of a song.
Yeah. So, but again, it's like I couldn't tell you like, and it.
That's why I don't travel.
Oh, I'm a travel. I'm gonna just keep it clean. The to get back to Pulisic and
Oh,
the
mouth,
Juventus
bro.
example, the Juventus isn't some unknown club though. That plays a role into it too.
I
You're
agree.
talking
I
about a
agree.
club that has a lot of history. You're talking about a club that you could argue is a legacy club, not just for its own league, but for soccer in general, because that's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
historic the club is. I can't tell you what historic, again, this might be my own ignorance, but these players have been going overseas to Russia and these other Eastern European countries and other European countries to play basketball as a secondary income for decades now.
Hmm.
So I can't tell you what incredible team or specific team they went to where fans would have seen their game and followed them back to WNBA and helped the WNBA's rise in popularity to the degree that we see it now.
So where do we go from there?
I mean, to be honest with you, I understand them saying, the league, the WNBA saying that they don't want their players going to Unrivaled and going to play overseas. But there's only one solution to that if you don't want it to happen.
Pay
Do
them.
I gotta pay them? The state of your league is at a point where if I have to look elsewhere to provide for my family, I will do that. And
Okay.
they're in danger of having a competitor in Unrivaled the same way the NBA back then had the ABA as a direct competitor to them back in the day. This is what this is setting up to be. So if I'm the WNBA and I'm seeing that a lot of players in the offseason that are signed to WNBA teams and signed under WNBA contract are going to play for Unrivaled in the offseason, I can understand why you're scared, because a player could get hurt. You could get a season-ending injury in Unrivaled. Now that's less eyes for the league. That's less this for the league. But it's like, if now it's like a double-edged situation, because you're admittedly saying you recognize the value of your players and you recognize the potential eyes that the players have brought to the league exponentially, not only this season but last season. So you saying no, we're not going to pay you more, but you can't go over there. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't do this. You're putting restrictions on what the players can and can't do, but you're not properly creating the environment for them to want to play for the WNBA, push the WNBA forward, and not look at other competitors and not look at other avenues for them to make more money if the money
Okay.
isn't there.
So when they go play for, let's say, a Russian team or whatever, a Spain team or somewhere else that is not known like that, how much money they make?
At least a mil.
Like just at least 1 million.
At least a mil.
And WNBA, how much money they make?
A couple of hundreds of thousands of dollars. You're not getting, and
So they make more money playing overseas than they make in WNBA?
yes, Candace Parker's one of the WNBA's greatest players to ever play.
Yeah.
Admittedly, was constantly going overseas at the end of the season, signing contracts to make more money.
So if I'm
She's
making more
smooth.
money playing overseas, I'm not coming back to WNBA, bro.
But at that point, it also becomes bigger than that, though, because you also have you're talking about a person whose family's back home, double time because they're women. Some of them are mothers, so you're talking about like kids not growing up with you. You're talking about you're going to a country you're not really familiar with.
True.
So you have to constantly do that, and some of these countries are strict too, like a Russia. So there's that isolation. You're doing this for money to provide, but it's not what you want to be doing. A lot of these players do not want to be going overseas. They're only doing it because the avenue financially has not been there in the WNBA, because the eyes weren't there to begin with, and they weren't bringing the eyes back with them, because it's not like these teams were crazy big teams in their markets or crazy big market teams. They were just teams willing to pay for international talent to get better in their respective leagues, and there's nothing wrong with that. So, I mean,
So I think they should just find a way to pay them or match the money that they're making overseas and then go from there. Because I think that if you add 1 mil to the player that are worth it, salary, the league can be significantly better, and we can avoid all these headaches.
I mean, it all depends on. It'll ultimately depend on a lot of things, and especially because I think for what I see the league becoming in the future, talking about like the paying players more money and doing all these things, the league has to be able to capitalize on the generation of WNBA talent that it has now. This generation of WNBA players that is currently playing now and in competing at this level has an opportunity to grow the game forward, especially globally. If you do not take this opportunity to compile your best players your best ambassadors. And they already did it, but they need to keep on doing that, especially now when you have a Caitlin Clark or an Angel Reese. You got to find a way to get members of that draft class or players who have that level of popularity. You feel me? Like our they already did it with Asia Wilson, but like let's see Nafisa Collier go there. Let's like these players that are bringing eyes and more attention to your league. You need to be able to put them at the forefront globally, and you need to have them dominate. That's how you're going to bring talent back to your league from overseas if they see the dominance that you have from a global standpoint. And then you're going to get little bits and pieces of players coming back if you still go to overseas route, if that's still an option. You're going to get like bits and pieces of players, not players coming from the United States who played overseas, but players who are coming from overseas being drafted to WNBA teams. That's how you bring global talent little by little to the league. But none of this works if you don't pay the players. And at the same time, none of this works if they don't address one of the biggest problems that they've had that I've addressed since last season, which is they need to do something about these roster sizes, and they need to do something about the small amount of teams that the league currently has, because the league still has a roster problem. And it is, to say the least, it is annoying because you had the Dallas Wings, for example. The Dallas Wings had to remember last couple episodes where I talked about emergency signings, like where you just don't have enough bodies for play for whatever the reason, injuries, contractual, whatever it is. The Dallas Wings had to do that recently, or else they would have had to forfeit a game. It should never get to that point. If you're the Premier League of your country, if you're the Premier League of your sport, you shouldn't be in a position where teams have to do emergency signings and have to do these things just because there's not enough spots on the roster. And then I hear that, oh, you made a trade. You traded this player away for draft picks, or you traded this player away for money, or you just straight up waived this player after signing them, or you waived this rookie that you drafted after signing the rookie. You can't. That's not sustainable.
No, that's not. I feel like the association only manages the NBA well, but when it comes to the G League and the WNBA, it's a shit show.
And it shouldn't be, because I really can't stress this enough. If they mismanage this, especially with the level of talent that's in the WNBA currently, if they mismanage this, it's going to do so much damage to the WNBA, because you already did the hard part. People are watching.
Yeah, you got the eyes
the
now.
hard part is done. It can only go up from here. People are, you got super fans complaining about like what Candace Parker is saying, calling her like flip-flopping and backtracking, all these kind of things. You got stands. You got people the hard part is done. Just now, just get all the business part of it. Handle the business side of it with a growth mindset for the league, like 10 years into the future, 15 years into the future.
They just need a better marketing team.
It's already they don't even need that, because it's already done.
Yeah, because the eyes are there. But I feel like they need like a better programming team, or put like a better I don't even know, like better product together to give to the fans, because
something. And then also to agree with Candace Parker on what you said too about the All-Star game, they gotta as annoying and as tedious as it is, they gotta take the All-Star game more seriously than the NBA players do. Because you still have to prove that you're not the better product comparatively to the NBA, but where the NBA lacks is where you should be able to say, no, we don't lack in that department. And I feel like the All-Star game was a missed opportunity. Not fully, because it was still an enjoyable game. I'm always one for seeing players enjoy the game. It doesn't have to be competitive fully in the All-Star game because literally, couple days later, you're going to be back clawing at each other and being super competitive. But if you're gonna have leverage in this situation, the All-Star game is always going to have to be a thing where you're super competitive against your peers and you show the world with all the eyes that, no, we have this level of talent. We play this way. We do this. We do that. And you let the All-Star game be the ultimate showcase. Like, the All-Star game needs to be the greatest game after the playoffs and after the finals.
And in sports, that's the way it should be. It's
It's not
All-Star.
like that, though.
It's like the Pro Bowl game for the NFL.
It don't matter. Pro Bowl sucks.
I mean, it's not on TV, but it's an honor to be called a Pro Bowler. So
nah, it sucks. The Pro Bowl. I'm sorry to NFL, like what? Because I'm not the biggest NFL guy.
But the thing is, they don't take it serious. No, it doesn't matter what sport it is. Whatever star you call, it's like a day off for them. They just come and show up for the fans.
Well, yeah, we call
it's not a competitive
NBA
thing.
All-Star Weekend, and then we call it like All-Star Break. Like what you would call it. Jimmy Butler will deadass he'll be like, I'm not playing, and he'll be on the bench the whole. We have players who don't even want to play the All-Star game. They'd rather be on the bench and stuff like that. The WNBA cannot get to that point.
But you will.
They will, but they can't be at that point now, and it would be unwise for them to be at that point now. Leave that for the WNBA OGs. But if you're like a first-time All-Star, a young player, a young All-Star, you better come in and trying to prove something. Even if it's unnecessary, come in trying to prove something. Turn it competitive, something.
I agree.
Man, so many, something. Candace was right, man. I don't know.
She is right, but I mean, it takes a lot, bro. It takes a lot,
man. And she was, I didn't see. She hasn't said anything crazy that I've heard. I just seen people just mainly.
It's not that what she said is crazy. It's more like the people that needs to put the work in.
Yeah,
I don't think they are willing to do that, especially in a league that they are not getting that money, their money worth. Why am I be doing extra work?
Because it's as you said, it's like that's your biggest opportunity to show why. Like this, because if you get the world on your side,
the world is already on their side.
No, because there's the fans that are there are on your side, but I
am on their side, and I don't even watch regularly.
I mean, but you got the Shaqs of the world who are like giving mini skirts and lower the rim, like those people.
Those people are crazy, bro. Those people are crazy.
And then she was catching flack for what she said about Angel Reese because remember on the pod, I wasn't too high on Angel Reese either towards the end of her first season. I was like, I'm kind of scared she's going to plateau. There are some holes in her game and some things I didn't like that I saw. And then Candace Parker flat out said she was a C-tier player. Flat out. And then people are saying that she's now backtracking because she started giving Angel Reese more praise, saying that she's got unlimited potential and that she's in a position to where future, like down the line, if she exceeds her potential, that, an Asia Wilson could pass down the torch to her and can carry that on. And I want people to remember when I said that the mold and the example that I had for Angel Reese was a Candace Parker, Asia Wilson type of player, where you could do multiple things, be effective in multiple ways, especially if you add a jumper to your game. Did I not say that?
Yeah, you said that. Yep.
So why is Candace Parker catching flack for saying exactly what needed to be said? Because if you're getting, because they were losing last year, if you're on a losing team and you're stat padding for double-doubles, which she was doing, let's not sit here and pretend like there wasn't some games when she was like, you could tell she was trying to keep the streak alive. Let's not pretend that wasn't happening. The double, especially when the double doubles didn't look as effective the way they do this season. They didn't look as pretty the way they do this season. She didn't look as comfortable. Mind you, I gotta give like benefit of the doubt. She did have some games where stretches where she was playing with injury. She hurt her wrist and she wasn't fully healthy in her first season.
No.
I understand that. But even like from an eye test perspective, you could just tell. Even like the Caitlin Clark Crusaders they had fuel. They were like, don't ever compare her to Caitlin Clark again. Don't do this again. It's not a 1A, 1B. Like they
But
were running
listen,
that.
those fans are always gonna come for your head, and
They
anytime you say
are,
something about their guy.
but they weren't wrong though. They weren't wrong. And that's not to say that Angel Reese was a terrible basketball player last year, but you can't overlook the missed layups. You can't overlook the time she would snag an offensive rebound, be surrounded, and then go straight back up with it instead of kicking it out. You can't overlook the times where she would drive to the basket and it just didn't look as comfortable. But you can't undermine the defense. You can't undermine the fact that she was one of the league's best rebounders, defensively and offensively. So when I hear C tier player, I don't hear awful. I hear player with room to grow, and she's shown that this season. So you can say and you can acknowledge when a person has improved. You're not backtracking if you give criticism and then recognize that a person has done well to address those criticisms.
This generation, bro. They will tell you keep the same energy.
And then ESPN had the nerve. They did a side by side. They had Candace Parker's like averages and accolades. They had A'ja Wilson's averages and accolades, and then they had Angel Reese's averages and accolades. That's not fair to nobody involved. A'ja Wilson's at the peak of her powers. Candace Parker's a retired, go to the WNBA. Angel Reese is in her second season. What are we doing? This helps nobody. Because I know
this is
there's
ESPN, bro. It's ESPN. I don't expect anything.
And then there's people, the people who are only going to look at stats. They're going to be like, oh, C-tier player. Candace Parker averaged 16. That looks like C-tier to me. No. She averaged 16 back in the day in a different era of ball. And she had given birth. She was on maternity leave. She wasn't playing. And you know what's crazy? If you look at the little thing where it says accolades, Candace Parker won MVP her rookie year.
Yep.
What are we doing? Anyway.
But they're not gonna think about those things. They're just gonna see that Candace is coming for their guy and their girl, and they're gonna go crazy.
And it's not even. It's just like I hate this era where you can't. Can the criticism be too harsh sometimes? Yes. But when the criticism is valid and it's really not that harsh when you look at it, it's not like she called her trash.
She said she's a C-tier player. That's
you're
one step above trash.
They did the man. I'm ranting. I'm gonna stop because it's getting ridiculous. It's really getting ridiculous. Like y'all are doing too much. It's only right that I come for the. I don't even know what do I call it? The Bayou Barbies? I don't even know what to call them. I don't even want to call it. I don't even call it nothing.
The Angel Reese fans.
Yes.
I don't know what they call themselves.
I don't know. I'm just better off being in the middle because you had the Caitlin Clark Crusaders, and then you had I don't know, the Barbs or what. I don't know. Just they be doing too much. Like she's in year 2. Yes, she's making history. Yes, she's doing these things, but if you can sit here and only see the great things about a player in their second season and not be able to one call them out, and then not be able to vocalize where they can improve, I feel like you're disrespecting that player's potential. Because I feel like because you're saying, oh, you have more
that's
room.
all you can be.
That's all you
cannot grow. That's all you can be. That's
I
fair.
feel like that's disrespectful.
That is fair. That's fair.
And the greatest compliment, I feel like the greatest compliment an all-time player could give you is to tell you, hey, you have more room to improve. And then they describe what they see for you. If someone is telling you that they see an MVP candidate, WNBA champion, passing the torch down to you, is that not a compliment?
That is. Well, guys, you got all this rent early. You got this rent early, so we're gonna switch into the NBA. So, Pat Bev, he thinks that the Warriors will have won more championships if they had Paul George instead of Klay Thompson. How do you feel about that?
Paul George would have been injured sometime in the postseason. Paul George would have shot 13% from the field at some point in one of the most pivotal series of the game. Just so we're clear, which Paul George are they talking about? Are they talking about PG8 or are they talking about which version of Paul George was he specifically talking about? Because if he's talking about Oklahoma Indiana, Paul George,
Indiana, OKC.
You saying they would have won more?
Yeah, more championships.
I can't personally say that because
I don't agree. I don't agree because there was a GOAT against them.
I don't agree just because I'm not a big believer in, because that's just the whole super team debate thing again, and we've already seen so many teams just smash a bunch of superstars together and it not work. The reason Klay Thompson and Steph fit so well together is because you put the two of the greatest shooters ever to touch a basketball in a system based around both of them moving off the ball. Klay Thompson was a man who had 37 and a quarter, 60 with 11 dribbles.
Which will make you feel like Draymond Green is the best passer in the NBA. Was the best passer in that era because he was averaging double-digit assists because he was the one passing them the ball.
He was feeding them and he was setting screens to get them open. He was a big point in that offense too because he would just dish off and create opportunities for them.
But it's not like Draymond has the best basketball IQ.
Yeah, he's up there.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Nah,
I don't have to like the guy, but I'm not gonna insult his IQ.
I actually like Draymond. It's just, to me, I feel like Draymond is the player that plays off feelings, not really necessarily off IQ.
I disagree. Hard disagree.
Okay, so why didn't he pass the ball to KD when they had the blow up?
I'm not saying he never has any personal lapses, but his game is predicated on IQ, very much. Because
his game is just finding the open guy. That's not IQ.
You can't say you like Draymond if you're saying that. I don't like Draymond, and I'm giving him more credit than you are right now.
So wait, you think that Draymond is gonna come down get the inbound and then come with the ball to try to create?
Yes. Draymond has initiated plays for the Warriors.
How many times?
A lot.
So he was their main initiator.
I'm not saying he was their main facilitator, but easily.
So there are many players that have initiated plays throughout their career. That doesn't mean that they are the best IQ ever.
He's a pivotal part of that offense, offensively.
I never said he wasn't. But I said that wasn't because of his IQ.
Yes, it was.
Come on, man.
Yes, it was.
Now, when you're talking about Draymond was a facilitator because of his IQ, you kind of disrespecting guys like Luka, like guys like LeBron, guys like
I'm not.
You are, because to me that's what you're doing, putting him in that level.
Cause he is.
Bro.
Draymond's IQ offensively and defensively is the reason why he's in the league. It's the reason why he can
Defensively,
average. It's
yes.
the reason why he can
Offensively,
have a
not
game.
really.
That's crazy. And you like
Offensively,
Draymond?
not
You
really.
don't like
Yes, I like
Draymond.
him.
You don't like Draymond. If you can
Draymond.
say that,
But I don't think Draymond is
you don't
at the
like
same
Draymond.
level as LeBron when it comes to IQ.
We're not. He's a take LeBron, right? Take LeBron. Forget what I said about them. I'm not even putting Luka on LeBron's level IQ wise. So I don't even know why you said Luka's name. But take LeBron. Mettez-la.
You know who I would say has
Mettez-la.
You know who I think that you might compare when it comes to IQ with Draymond? It will be Ben Simmons.
You don't like Draymond.
You
don't like Draymond.
I like Draymond, bro.
You don't like Draymond. Ladies and gentlemen, he just lied to y'all. He does not like Draymond Green.
I like Draymond Green. I just don't think that Draymond can read the game like this, bro.
What?
I just don't.
He does not like Draymond.
Come on, man.
If you can sit here and tell me Draymond Green, IQ-wise, cannot read the game.
Draymond just needed to find the open man between Steph and Klay. Or maybe Iguodala sometimes.
You don't like Draymond.
And he didn't even like KD. So he brought KD to the Warriors, but something happened. He didn't like KD no more. So he will barely pass to KD.
You don't like Draymond. You don't like. I don't like Draymond, and you got me defending Draymond Green. I don't like Draymond's personality on the court and his antics, and you have me.
So okay,
I don't like Green. You don't like Draymond.
Wait. Okay, you think Draymond Green is on the same level as Pat Bev? Like he was?
Yes!
Because they are two similar hotheads. Beyond Pat Bev?
Yes! What do we say? What?
Pat Bev is a point guard, bro. That's what he does. Initiated offense.
What offense has Pat Bev initiated?
Come on, man. He's been doing it in the league for a long time.
What offense?
That's why he lasted this long.
What
offense? They never looked at Pat Bev for points.
What offense has Pat Bev initiated?
Yeah, man.
Let me know, because this is news to me. This is news to me, and I love Pat Bev. Like
how many seasons did Pat Bev last?
I'm not talking about longevity here. I'm not talking about longevity.
So why he was never a scorer. He wasn't averaging 30. He wasn't averaging 25. Bruh, he was a good defender. He was a good passer.
It's a lot of players who lasted a long time in this league, and they didn't need to necessarily have IQ. So the longevity thing don't really.
He was a good defender. Draymond was a good passer.
Does Draymond not have a DPOI?
Didn't I say that? Didn't I say that he has a great IQ defensively, but offensively, I don't think he does.
Offensively too, because offensively, like examples of offensive IQ is, yes, you're finding the open man, but man's driving down the lane, you seal a defender. Man is like defender. A defender on the opposing team is, for example, not recognizing that they're out of position, so you communicate that to your teammates. You telling a player, no, you set that screen for Steph, Klay, cut back door, or you set the screen yourself to initiate something. You use yourself as a piece on the floor to move other people around you. That's what Draymond's been doing his entire career.
That is basic offense. That is basic NBA offense, bro.
See, you don't like Draymond. Because if you can say that, then you don't like Draymond. Because that's
if somebody cannot do that, you're playing in the NBA, you cannot do that. You don't need to be there.
There's a lot of players who can't do that.
Okay, so that's why they don't last in the league.
They're in the league now.
Like
They're in the league right now.
Give me somebody that lasted. No, give me somebody that lasted more than 10 seasons that couldn't do that at all.
Not at all, but not to the level you're describing. Because what you basically, you sounded like Draymond Green don't have a lick of IQ offensively, and that's just incorrect.
I'm not saying that he's the whack offensively, but I'm saying it's not LeBron. I'm saying it's not Luka. I'm saying it's not.
James. We ain't talking about LeBron James.
When somebody talks about IQ, basketball IQ, that's who I measure you with. LeBron James.
You can't because that's he's up there. He's up there. And realistically, I don't even this might just be me, but I don't recognize how you have Luka up there IQ wise.
Luka has a decent IQ. Basketball.
What
he's not LeBron, but he's not.
What are you looking at to say that?
What am I looking at? I'm looking at when he's driving down, seeing the field, like looking at the field, recognizing when he's gonna take the shot or when he's gonna try to find a guy, or when he's gonna try to lob it for his center.
So has Draymond not done those things? Answer. Hey, I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking because you said all he does is pass it to the open guy.
How many times Draymond comes down with the ball, stops, read the field, and while he's dribbling the ball and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Either take the shot myself or create the offense for a guy to cut the lane and for me to get him the ball in time for him to go up, or initiate an ISO, or trying to find a 3-point or an open 3-point for himself.
That's you're not describing offensive IQ. You're just describing offensive production, like being able to score by yourself. That's never been Draymond's game.
Not even that. Okay, so
because you said ISO.
No.
You said get opportunity for 3 for himself, and then you said decide if he's gonna score himself first or look for someone else.
That's what I call IQ. IQ, you have to be able to decide if you're going to be the facilitator or if you're going to be the one making the point.
He's not good, but Draymond's not the primary scorer on that team. So if he's bringing the ball down, he's initiating that play. That doesn't mean he doesn't have IQ offensively.
Not to that level, bro.
He does.
He might have, but not to that level.
Watch the tape, because you got me defending Draymond Green. You got me defending Draymond Green.
Not to that level, bro.
That's the sin he's committed on this episode, ladies and gentlemen. He got me defending Draymond Green.
Anyways, this wasn't about Draymond. This was about will have PG fit better than Klay. Me personally, I don't think so. I'm not the biggest PG fan. I said that many episodes ago, and this guy went crazy talking about CPG and all of that. I was never a big PG fan. Maybe that's my own bias because he gave me so much problem when he was playing in Indiana.
Hey, but Draymond got no IQ. I don't know. We don't know what he be thinking. You know what I'm saying? We don't know what he's on.
I didn't say Draymond got no IQ. I said Draymond is not the best, the one that has the most offensive IQ. He has defensive IQ. Yes, he can defend the ball. He can read the defensive play but read the offensive plays.
I'm not splitting them up because IQ is IQ.
You're not splitting them up. This is different, man.
Nah,
it's different.
IQ is IQ because
a guy can be great in defense. Mm-hmm. Okay, hence, what's his name? The guy that played for the Bulls with all the color in his head. He has a daughter that plays soccer.
Dennis Rodman.
He was a great defensive player. He could read. He knew where to position himself to stop the other team from scoring. But was he a good offensive player?
No, because that wasn't his goal.
Could he do what Draymond was doing in Golden State?
No. Stop it.
Okay, then.
Stop it.
So hence my point. Sometimes you have to split them up.
Oh my God.
Anywho,
that means he's got more. Nah, I'm not. Nah. Because I don't like Draymond Green. We're moving on. What we got? What we got? What we got?
I got more rebuttal for you.
Nah, they say what's that one word that my guy Stephen A. B. saying? My guy Stephen A. Swift, he said that's blasphemous.
No, it's not.
It's
no,
blasphemous.
It's not. Okay, anybody in the comment that feels different, let me know. Because it's not.
Absolute filth coming from his mouth right now.
No, it's not. So you're gonna tell me the guy that I don't like, Jason Terry, you're gonna tell me this guy had great offensive IQ?
No, he wasn't even in the conversation. You brought him in there. You put him in there.
Exactly. But he was a solid defender. He was an annoying ass defender.
Hey.
He can recognize the play and defend.
Hey.
There's a lot of players. Another great defender that played that game that I feel like we didn't get enough of. Tony Allen.
Okay. His only problem is he couldn't shoot. He'll tell you he's king of the clank.
But he was an awesome defender. But again, can he facilitate the offense?
That wasn't his role, so no.
I'm not talking about Wall. I'm talking
okay.
You want to bring Wall into this? Let's bring Wall into this. So Draymond is averaging double-digit assists or close to double-digit assists, but it's not his role to come down with the ball and recognize a play. Why?
It is. It's just not his primary role. That's why you have secondary ball handlers. He's a secondary ball handler.
I don't think Draymond was the secondary ball handler in that Golden State team.
Who was then? Because Klay wasn't dribbling the ball.
Klay wasn't, but don't forget they had Iguodala.
Iguodala was coming off the bench.
He was, but when he was on the field, wasn't he stepping into that role?
Okay, that's also Draymond Green's role. That's been his role since he entered the league. That's been his role since David Lee went down.
You said Draymond was the secondary ball handler, Oli? Seriously? Secondary? And a team that had KD. Well, after Iguodala, the team had KD, the team had Barnes, the team had Kyrie, the team had there was another point guard I'm missing. Draymond cannot play the point, bro.
Okay.
You think he can play the point?
Okay.
It's like, okay. No, come on, come back. Gabriel, come back. You think he can play the point?
Because you got me defending Draymond Green's IQ on the podcast. And I ain't going, ladies and gentlemen. I don't like Draymond Green as a player, but I respect his IQ. I'm going to leave it at that. He don't like Draymond Green.
I like Draymond Green as a player. I don't think he has the best IQ.
No. You don't like Draymond Green.
I love Draymond Green as a player.
You don't like
but I don't think Draymond has the best IQ.
You don't like Draymond Green.
That's just me. Just me. Just because the guy is passing the ball off a pick and roll to me doesn't mean that you can just stay at the top of the and then recognize everybody, the movement they're gonna make and everything. Like read that and see everything. I don't think. I mean, that's me. I don't think Draymond has that. I don't. Okay.
Because I don't like the guy. You got to talk
about
the guy.
You gotta be more pissed because next topic. Gilbert Arenas thinks that Damian Lillard is better than Kyrie. He just wasn't a bigger market. Do you think so too?
You know what? I've had this conversation with one of my good friends, and he will his biggest argument for Dame is that Dame did it as the leader of his team, and he couldn't go far. Because for me, this isn't a problem about market, because Dame time became Dame time, and he had everybody's eyes on him. I'm not a big believer in that small market, big market talk. If you're in a small market and you're trash, nobody's going to see you. If you're in a small market and you're good, people are going to tune in and you're going to be seen. That's how we got Dame time in the first place. And let's not sit here and act like he didn't have solid enough teams. Because I remember he played with one LaMarcus Aldridge. I remember that duo. And they played pretty well together, if memory serves me right. So I'm not buying this small market, big market talk. Is Dame is going to be one of those players that is severely underrated because of ring culture. I will say that. Because despite Kyrie Irving winning his championship and being one of the greatest players we've ever seen legitimately play basketball, he has underachieved despite being an NBA champion compared to where we might have expected him to be.
Wait. Underachieve. How?
Because he left one LeBron James to be a Boston Celtic, and the expectation was for him to lead that team to a championship. And then he also went to Brooklyn, where there was that same expectation. You are expected to lead a team to a championship and win a championship, quote unquote, by yourself on your own, apart from the person who you won your first championship with. And he hasn't done that.
Okay. Listen.
And I haven't even touched on statistics either.
Boston.
I didn't even touch on statistics.
Boston. That wasn't Kyrie, bro. They were young. They didn't have winning culture in them.
That was Kyrie though.
How was that him?
Well, granted, he did get injured. Injuries aside, when he came back, he's still because he's the person on that team with the most championship experience. He got to the promised land. He got the
one. He had one.
Yeah,
and he wasn't the leader. He wasn't in the driving seat for that one. So he went to Boston thinking that he could drive them there. But you're driving a bunch of kids, a bunch of school kids. So how are you gonna get there?
Drive them.
With what?
Drive them.
That was LeBron and Cavs all over again. But the first string.
No, it wasn't. Because when he got hurt. And when Gordon got hurt, those kids they went on a playoff run by themselves and could have almost won a championship if things go differently. That was Jason Tatum's coming out party.
They were playing against top talent in the league. They were playing against prime LeBron James.
That's not first stint Cleveland.
Because LeBron brought them to the conference final. And he lost against the Magic.
That's not first stint Cleveland. Comparing that Boston team to LeBron's first stint in Cleveland is disrespectful to that Boston team because that Boston team had the talent. They had the
talent, but they did not know how to win yet. How many years it took them to get that championship?
Too many more.
And they had to bring one Drew Holiday to the team to win it.
Exactly. Yeah. Drew Holiday's not better than Kyrie for it.
He wasn't, but he was fitting the wall. Remember, I told you guys, as soon as they bought Holiday, I told them it was their years. I told their friends it was their years. Well, it was their year because that's what they needed.
That still doesn't dismiss the expectation that was placed on Kyrie the second he left LeBron and joined that team.
Because they were not familiarized with winning culture yet. So I'm not gonna blame Kyrie for that. Brooklyn, I'm not gonna blame Kyrie again because they tried to build a big three, and it failed miserably. How is that Kyrie's fault?
That's still I'm not saying that's his fault. I'm saying that's still a part of him underachieving.
But how did his production decrease?
Did he win?
No, you cannot say underachieving because he didn't win. What about production? Wasn't he putting the same numbers that he was always doing?
Did he win? If Devin Booker retires tomorrow, are we gonna sit here and say he didn't underachieve?
But they still gonna say he was a great player.
I'm not saying Kyrie Irving wasn't a great
player. Nobody had expectations for Devin Booker to win anything.
He went to a finals and lost.
He went okay. That was one of the universe odd things, but nobody expected him to be there.
Okay, well, he underachieved after leaving LeBron. That is point blank. Period.
But the numbers did not decrease, bro. They did not decrease.
This ain't about numbers either, because he underachieved the expectation. I'm talking career-wise. I'm not talking about
Oh wait, you're gonna tell me Kawhi overachieved because he went to Toronto and bought a ring there?
I'm not saying he didn't. But if you were to sit here and tell me that Kawhi could have done more for his career, I'd agree with you. And then I'd tell you he had a bunch of injury issues and we didn't see the best of what his career could be.
But I cannot say the guy underachieved because he was put in situations where, well, he put himself there. If we're gonna agree on that. He put himself there, but at the same time, his numbers did not decrease. The Brooklyn situation, the guy stood for what he believed in. He said he wasn't gonna take a vaccine. He did not. And the Boston situation, that was a shit show, bro. What could he have done different?
The Boston situation was not as big of a shit show. The Boston situation is all him because he chose to leave. Like that's on you. If you decide you're going to attempt something and you fail at that attempt, that's on you. Because at the end of the day,
if I decide, okay, if I wake up tomorrow and say that I'm going to attempt something, I have the will, but I don't have the means. How's that on me?
Don't say he didn't have them. He had the means. That team was capable. Despite them not having a winning culture, this isn't the Trailblazers not having a winning culture. This isn't the Washington Wizards not having a winning culture. This is Boston.
Doug, it took more than 10 years for them to win.
And they were in the finals before that too. They had
being in the finals don't mean nothing, bro. You in the finals, but you did not win.
Because now we're dismissing how the culture was built. When you're dismissing the steps they took to even get to that final, one, they got to a final, then they got to how many conference finals, then they made the steps to get there year after year after year after year. That's establishing culture. That's not to say, oh, it took you this long to do this one thing like it was a miracle. No. They had it then when LeBron was in the East. They had it when Kyrie Irving was on the team. The players were just young. If you're gonna say the players were inexperienced, sure, fine. They had the talent, and despite their inexperience, they still made a deep playoff run without Kyrie Irving, without Gordon Hayward. That's not a shit show. That's not a shit show. There's no way you can sit here and say that's a shit show.
To me, it was because the guy was fed up with the team. There was no chemistry there. There was a lot of shit being said in the media. So how I'm gonna win?
Because that's where, and Kyrie's already admitted that in his leadership, in his role to be a leader, it wasn't his best on that team because he was learning to be a leader and trying to do it on his own, and he failed.
Exactly.
That's still him underachieving. He didn't achieve what he set out to do. Therefore, he underachieved. And then you compare that to Dame, who, since we're bringing numbers into this underachieving thing, Dame's numbers have been crazy ever since he was in Portland. And he's been booted out of playoffs despite sending Portland on historic playoff runs. He's been booted. He's underachieved too from the simple fact that his runs have never resulted in a ring, despite him being great.
With what was he gonna get that ring, bro?
He was in a worse situation than Kyrie was. That doesn't change the fact that he didn't underachieve.
How is he gonna underachieve when he's putting a team on his back every year?
At one point, they were the third seed. That's why I'm like, let's not. At one point, they were a third seed in the Western Conference.
Okay, when they were third seed, how many points was Dame averaging?
I don't know.
Look at the second best player on the team. How many points was he averaging?
The second best player on the team was CJ McCollum.
Okay, averaging how many points?
I couldn't tell you, but CJ McCollum.
When CJ left that situation and went
to New Orleans.
Yeah. What was he doing?
Nothing, because he wasn't One, he got hurt, so he was battling that. But also,
before you say that they underachieved, you gotta look at what they had.
I did. They were third. They were the third seed at one point.
Because Dame was carrying them.
They had a competent enough roster as well. I don't want to. Yes, Dame is a great player, but I'm saying Dame underachieved. Like they underachieved for two different reasons.
I have a question.
They underachieved for two different reasons. Kyrie Irving underachieved because he couldn't add on to the success that he had after that one ring, despite his talent. Dame had the talent, had the numbers, but underachieved because he didn't have the hardware. That's why this is a thing. Dame doesn't have the hardware. He doesn't have the championship. He doesn't have the thing that says, the culmination of all his work. Until you look at his history, until you look at the numbers, until you watch a couple games, and you realize, no, this dude was super talented. He was in conversations with Steph as the best point guard in the league, as the best shooter in the league, and this guy was carrying his team night in and night out. He had the talent as the number one option on his team. Then you look at Kyrie, you look at him, you say, eye test, he's one of the most gifted, most talented players you've ever seen. He has arguably the clutchest shot in Game 7 NBA Finals history and the championship to show for it. He leaves that team to go be the man of another team, and he has nothing to show for it since then.
So if Kyrie wins in Dallas this season,
and mind you, he has nothing to show for it since then as a number one option. Any attempt he's made as a number one option have not been remotely successful when you compare them to a player like Dame, who was a number one option since the very beginning of his career. And we got to remember, too, when Kyrie Irving was the number one option in his early days in Cleveland, they were losing. Dame in his second season hit a game winner to advance his team in the playoffs.
Oh, okay. Now I'm confused.
How are you?
Do you agree that Dame is better, or do you agree that Dame is not better? Like, because I don't know where you stand here. You I feel like you're all over the place, bro.
I agree that I say Kyrie's better, but not for the reason that Gilbert Arenas is talking about. Not for the small market, big market team. To me,
Gilbert Arenas thinks Dame is better. That's what he thinks.
I don't have the biggest horse in this race, but to me, Kyrie Irving is better despite both of them having underachieved relative to what they could have done. To me, they've underachieved in two different ways. And Kyrie Irving, in my opinion, a second ring won't change.
I can't agree with you on that word, bro. Underachieving. I really can't.
That's on everywhere he's gone to be the first option, he's failed. He has one ring to show for it compared to the talent that he's shown on the basketball court. When
LeBron carried that Cleveland team, J.R. Smith, I'm entrepreneur. So LeBron underachieved.
First stint Cleveland will never be comparable.
I'm not talking about first stint. I'm talking about second stint when Kyrie left, when he carried that team to the finals and they lost. So he underachieved.
No, he was the first option of his team. I'm saying Kyrie underachieved. He was the first option on the team, and he has nothing. When I say nothing, they didn't make a deep playoff run like with him, where you can say Kyrie's the reason they did it. Can you say that?
Injury.
Okay, but can you say that they had a definitive playoff run where you look at the reason you can't
say that when he got injured? How I'm gonna judge him when he wasn't playing?
I'm talking
whatever. Now we're talking about what ifs.
whatever the reason may be, if you look at his examples of him being the number one option, being the guy, and underachieving, not amounting to what was expected of him and what expectations he put on himself when he made that move, he underachieved. Because when I'm saying underachieving, I'm not just saying like based off the numbers in the situation only. I'm talking about the talent level too. You look at Kyrie Irving's talent. There's no way you tell me this isn't a player who could be the number one option on the team and not be successful. But then you look at his resume and you see that he only has one ring to show for it. And when you look at how he got that ring, yes, it was like a 1A, 1B situation in the moment when he made the clutchest shot in Game 7 history, and when he had that, he matched Braun with a 41-point game of his own. That's it. You still can't say he was the definitive number one option because LeBron. Him not being the number one option ever in his career, and the one ring he has for it is the one ring where he wasn't even a clear number one option, is underachieving to the level of talent he had. Like, if Kobe Bryant ended his career in 2016 with only the rings that he had when he was with Shaq, people would, you're not gonna think people were like, oh, he could have done more, or he could have been. You don't think that him not being a number one on this team and winning those championships without Shaq would not have been beneficial to his career?
From that logic, Kevin Durant underachieved.
In my opinion, I'm on that boat. You could call me crazy if you want to, but I'm on that boat because he pulled the weakest.
One of the rings that he has an MVP.
I'm aware, but I could argue that too because he went on a team where he had no other competition. It was easy for him. He had the greatest floor spacing any top level scorer could ask for. You have Steph Curry on one side, you have Klay Thompson on the other, and you're an elite scorer in your own right. What more could you want? That's why it's the weakest move in basketball history because you were up 3-1 against that team.
I'm not disputing that.
Team, and then you left your team to go to that same team that beat you. That's extremely weak. Why would it be hard for you?
I'm not disputing that. Yes,
but I'm saying that's why. But then that's why I'm saying same thing with Kyrie Irving. The expectation placed on Kevin Durant, whether you argue if it's fair or not, was okay. You did this thing. You stacked the deck. You went and formed the team. You went and joined the team that won 73 games before you. And nobody in their right mind was like, oh, they're gonna lose now that Kevin Durant's on the team.
No.
Now they're like, okay, it was easy for you to win now. If you are who you say you are, and rightfully so, people respect your talent, they respect your craft, there is this expectation of you to lead a team as the main person to then win.
Okay, so time is closing. Okay, I'm gonna end that topic with one question. If KD wins with the Rockets or Kyrie wins with Dallas, are they still on that underachiever list for you?
It would have to be how they do it.
No, they leading the team to win. They are MVP, top scorer, and everything.
To me, it means you don't underachieve in that regard to me because you've proven, like, based on your talent level, you've proven you're capable of doing certain things that are expected of you. That's how we have the whether or not this person's a bust conversations. That's where those conversations come from. This is just an elevated level of that conversation because at this point, your talent is already established. I'll give you a prime example. Zion Williamson. If Zion Williamson was to end his career tomorrow, he would have underachieved because his talent level set an expectation of what people wanted to see from him. And that's domination, MVPs, DPOYs, championships. The sky was the limit. The potential was the limit. And he's over here impregnating strippers and eating, not managing his weight, getting injured, missing multiple games. And he's not. I'll give you another one. Joel Embiid, relative to his talent, we're talking about a person who has had the potential to be the most dominant center of all time because he was a center who could dribble, who could shoot the three at his size, at his like.
But that's not him though. That's injury.
It partially is because he's another player who mismanaged their weight and diet, and it took a toll on his knee injuries and the repetitive knee injuries he was getting, to the point where even though he has an MVP to his name, people discredit the MVP and still discredit his career because realistically, he's underachieved relative to the talent that set a certain expectation of what he should have became. That you don't. I'm not talking crazy here.
I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying that I just want to make sure that we are clear on.
I got multiple names for you because injuries suck. Injuries suck, but they are a part of the game, and they do play a part in a player not reaching their potential and underachieving. And I know, like, players will say this, rightfully so. They'll be like, I took my family out of poverty. I made it to the NBA. I made a certain amount of money. I did not underachieve. That's fine. You can say that. In life, there's not a single NBA player who underachieved in this thing we call life. Because you got to this level, you got paid, you took your family to that. But from a career perspective, there are plenty of NBA players, some currently playing, who have underachieved. Plain and simple.
We spent an hour and 15 minutes just talking basketball, bro.
Because you was fucking crazy.
You are talking crazy. Talking about Kyrie underachieved?
You was talking insane.
I still don't agree with that, bro. I still don't agree with that. Talking Kyrie underachieved. That's a hard pill to swallow. Anyway, NFL, man. Shedeur, you think the Browns really want him?
I don't know.
It's a situation I cannot read. Because he had a good game and the coach came out and was just like, yeah, whatever. He had a bad game and it's like that was the end of the world. They didn't put him on the 2-minute drive. And then I don't know, man.
I mean,
it's just
the way they didn't put him in a 2-minute drive, and they set him up with players who they knew weren't gonna be on the roster. So I personally, a part of me is like they're still testing him. They're still testing his mentality, putting him through certain situations of adversity to see how he'll respond, so that they know if he can be trusted in the event that, you know what I'm saying, he needs to be the next QB up. You know, but then the other part of me is like, you're purposely stacking the deck against him as a way to slight him, to show him that A, you don't need him, and A, you don't want him, and trying to find an excuse to kick him out the league on quote unquote merit.
But apparently something going on with the NFL that they don't want him in the league. So,
well, I mean, the entire league has let Dwyane Sanders' confidence hurt their insecurities for decades at this point. It's not surprising to me. It's really not surprising to me with the way they're treating him. It's not surprising. It's disappointing. It's weird.
That's what I was gonna say. It's weird to see because, like,
worst
his
players,
own coach don't believe in him.
I mean, worst players have been in the NFL, and worst players with worse legacies have been in the NFL and been given a better chance than Shedeur's been given right now. A better hand, I'll say.
The only thing I can say is if they plan to have him as QB1, they need to change their way of thinking, of their way of doing things, because that's not gonna help him realize anything to the full extent of his potential. He will always have that little voice in his head saying, "Are they testing me? Are they testing me?" And he will keep getting sacks. He will keep throwing picks. and then they will be like, okay, he's not good. So
I don't see that
I mean,
happening for him because his father's Deion Sanders. The thing I love, he's one of those players that you could tell built a lot of mental fortitude in his kids, and we saw it.
yeah.
We saw it on draft night when he didn't get drafted the first night, and how he composed himself. And you could tell he was hurt by it, but you could see how like he was able to recollect himself, bounce back, and then his support system with his brother and making fun at it, cracking jokes, keeping the mood light. Like that stuff speaks volumes to a player's mental fortitude. And I think he'll be okay. This will only make him better. And if the Browns want to spoil that opportunity because of negative PR, negative backlash, and whatever it may be,
if you don't want him, just trade him. Let him go somewhere else.
There's a team out there who if he could land on this
I'll give them Mac Jones for him.
You would. Yeah.
I give them Mac Jones.
They might make that happen, but you can. It's to me, it's not as sticky as this situation because they showed their true colors early already. So it wasn't like a.
True.
Well, why are they treating him this way? We
know. I know that the Niners did not draft him because they didn't feel like they needed a quarterback, and Cowboys are Cowboys. So
Cowboys are Cowboys.
But anyways, man, this is where we gotta end this because we've been at it for a long time.
You just had to start talking crazy, man. It was all
you were talking crazy too. I mean, I wasn't talking crazy. You was talking crazy.
It was calm until you started talking crazy. It was calm.
Nah, you was talking crazy, talking about Kyrie Irving underachieved. But guys, let us know in the comments, man, if you feel like Kyrie underachieved. Let us know if you think Draymond Green is that have that IQ level. I don't. And I mean, next week we'll touch up on more NFL and more soccer for you guys. I do hope you guys have. It's all good, man.
Your boy has lost his mind.
Nah, this guy lost his mind. First of all, he started ranting, and then he went talking crazy about Kyrie.
He lost
Dog,
his mind.
Man.
He lost his mind.
My mind is right there. Yours is wandering in Albany.
He lost his mind. He lost himself.
All right, man. I do hope everybody have a good week. We'll catch you up on the next one, man. Yo, go rethink that shit about Kyrie, bro.
Hey, go watch some film on Draymond, man. That's what you need to go do. Talking about you like Draymond. You don't like Draymond. You don't like Draymond the way you say you like Draymond. You don't like him.
All right, bro. I'll talk to you, man.
All right.
Peace.